What if we had the opportunity to talk to each other free of misunderstandings? What if we could playfully explore and enhance our natural ability to think systemically and logically? What would our world be like if we could attain such inner clarity that by every word we could really mean what we say and always could say what we actually mean? How would our children grow up in such a world? How would we shape our ecologies? How would we deal with conflict, with our feelings? What would be if we could form ourselves collectively on one platform, solve problems collectively in a language that we could all understand equally? What if each of us could be creative and free and be each other's teacher? What if each of our concepts were so clear that each of us could explore them in depth and reconstruct them within ourselves? Lack of clarity in thinking, speaking and acting, fear of learning, fear of oneself and of conflicts with others are among the greatest causes of the problems of our time. They drive us privately, professionally and internationally into disputes that we do not need. They make us so insecure that we flee into ideologies that only increase the difficulties. The climate crisis is a socio-psychological crisis. It has to do with the fact that we as a species are still very young and are still trying to figure out how we actually function. In intensive research, we have created a semantically and formally self-sufficient linguistic system, a coding language for languages and meaning that can be spoken by man and machine, Formwelt. The boundaries of our language are the boundaries of our world. Creativity thrives on indeterminacy, but it also needs a concrete foundation. Every artist knows this. Without technology and knowledge, it will become nothing. But what if we are so unclear linguistically that we are not even able to sound out our abilities and skills, let alone to work so creatively as we are actually capable of? And what if we could change that? If we could enable ourselves to increase our intelligence and ability to communicate through language to a level that was previously unimaginable for us? Formwelt works like Lego for concepts. The kernel of this language can be used to build any conceivable phenomenon, and anyone who has access to this kernel can fully comprehend the construction. Instead of separate terms and definitions that don't belong to us and are bulky out there, we use Formwelt to build concepts that concretely reflect what we mean by them and how their content works for us. And the clue is, Formwelt puts an end to the Babylonian confusion of language without restricting us. On the contrary, anyone can construct new spaces of meaning with Formwelt, create new worlds, new horizons, which, despite their dazzling individuality, are 100% comprehensible for everyone who also works with Formwelt. The application range of this universal language is enormous. Education, medicine, communication in companies, product planning, service efficiency, inner clarity, artificial intelligence, robotics, and we are already working on this, artificially emulated consciousness, language-based behavior analysis, therapy, virtual reality, art, literature, mediation, diplomacy, whatever has to do with language is touched by Formwelt. We can create entirely new languages with Formwelt. Languages of light and sound, of moving and landscapes and virtual reality. Doctors can use Formwelt to enter the linguistic world of their patients, with their patients, and communicate with them. Musicians could write operas whose tones, chords, pauses, and sequences of sounds are Formwelt concepts. Poets could write poems whose every single word in Formwelt would have a highly concentrated meaning. They could create completely new concepts for it. We could write music programs with our personal feel-good concepts and stabilize ourselves in them. And this is just the beginning. Formwelt knows no national borders. Even it can be spoken and written in every language of the world, it has a mathematical basis that makes it possible to translate all terms without cultural or individual loss of meaning. For dyslexics, children and illiterates, there is already a translation of Formwelt into intuitive icons. Nobody has to be excluded. For the first time, we can get into the depth of our world constructions, asking ourselves, what does it really mean to me? How does it work for me? And then we can build it in Formwelt with the kernel and other concepts already constructed with Formwelt. And in the Formwelt online platform, on the Formwelt online platform, we can make this new construction, this miracle that we have created out of ourselves, accessible to others in depth. What's more, Formwelt and the research in the background are opening up completely new technology. Under Formwelt lies a polyvalent logic of cognition that makes it possible for us to create emulations of our cognitive and communicative processes and performances, so that for the very first time ever we can see how our world forms play out as systems. Do they function, and will they cause us difficulties? We can and will build artificial intelligence to which we teach Formwelt, so that it can learn to create meaning, and that in symbiosis with us. And because Formwelt is a coding language, everyone learns to program on the side without any special effort. The future is in our hands. We can leave ourselves to it and continue to depend on technology that can do nothing but make our lives more comfortable. Or we can recognize that we face great challenges and opportunities that can motivate us to learn. And how could this be easier than with a language that connects us all on one platform, that wasn't designed to exploit us and deaden us with advertising, driving ourselves into the same conflicts over and over again, so that we slow ourselves down and poison each other, but on which we develop together, on which we learn together, on which we playfully and easily explore and apply our own innate super intelligence.